Hi, my name is Kasper Johansen and I'm your YouTube philosopher. This video here is about a very exciting thing. I actually found the entrance to Plato's cave on my holiday in Greece. And I would like to share it with you right now. And no, this video here is actually about the concept of fake news. There's a lot of fake news going around, especially on the internet, especially on YouTube. So I'm sorry you had to click on this video if you thought that I found the entrance to Plato's cave in Greece. I actually found nothing at all. I actually haven't been to Greece this summer. This video here is about the concept of fake news from a philosophical angle, from a philosophical perspective. And I'm sorry to say it's not really about Plato's cave, or is it the allegory of Plato's cave from Plato's philosophy, from his book Republic. Socrates, he's down there in the cave, and he's freed from his shackles. He's viewing this wall in front of him, and he's been doing that all his life, and suddenly he's freed in this allegory from Plato, and he can turn around and see, hey, what's that? There's something creating those shadows on the wall. The shadows on the wall that I view are not the real thing. They seem kind of fake. This is my quick introduction to Plato's cave, but this is what's actually going on. And the prisoner, he sees a fire, and people walking around with these figurines that creates the shadow on the wall that the prisoners are looking at. And he goes further off the cave, and he comes to the entrance, the prisoner, which is actually Socrates, Plato's master. And he comes up and he views the sun, which shines lights on the real figurines, the real thing. And he, at one point, he wants to go down in the cave and try to persuade the other prisoners that what they're viewing is actually fake. It's not the real thing. And I'm like a philosopher right now that I'm trying to warn you about this fake news that's going around. And of course you know there's fake news going around, and of course you're trying to be careful these days about fake news that's going around. We're all not perfect. We're all regular people, and we can sometimes be lured into something that seems very real, but it's not. And it could be a small thing, like something referring to an article, a scientific article that tells you that you should not boil something in water, and you think, maybe I should not boil this in water. It seems like it's bad. It seems very authentic that this article is talking about you should not boil this thing in water, but it's actually complete and utter nonsense. And if you Google around the internet, you find more real articles that says there's no problem in boiling this in water. And this is just an example. It's always been there, the idea that when you look at news on the television or you read a newspaper, you should be able to also think for yourself and not just look at the shadows on the wall like the prisoner down in the cave. You just stare at the wall and say, this must be true. It's right in front of me. It's been shown to me that this is the real thing that's going on. It's always from a philosophical perspective, you always have to use your own reasoning and understanding to kind of double check if this is all right. And that's it's always been like this. But there's something more worse going on because there's more fake news. So that means that you actually have to be more careful nowadays to kind of double check with your own reasoning and your own investigation. Is this really true? Because unfortunately we are living in a world where the president of, I don't know, is it almost 300 million, or yes, about maybe 300 million Americans, they have a president, and he says, oh, there's pictures of his inauguration speech, and he says, look how many people there are compared to Obama's. And you kind of like, is this true? Is the media trying to say that Trump is a liar, and that's why he's very adamant about there was really people present at this inauguration? But if you Google around and really double check, and many experts really agree, there wasn't that many people at Trump's inauguration as there was on Obama. Trump is actually stating false fact, and he's the sorry, I don't want to curse, but he's the president. So there's a problem going on that you have to check yourself, double check. And it could go, that was the president lying, but it could also be a media that's lying and saying something that's not really true. An old saying that says you shouldn't believe everything you read, everything you see. You have to be like the prisoner in a cave, to try to free yourself and walk around in this cave that is the world and speculate, is this really true that I'm seeing? Can I go further up towards the light of illumination, the light of knowledge, and understand something about the world, that everything's not as it seems? Especially when presidents and politicians can say about something that's fact, something that maybe the media says this is fact, they can say, that's fake news, that's not real. I have a different version, I have an alternative version about what is truth. Then what are you supposed to believe? You can't even trust a politician anymore. Could you trust the politician in the 80s? I don't know, probably, because they were more careful about saying fake news. While now, if we're not careful, it doesn't even matter. And that's the problem with fake news, that it can easily go a place where you just distrust everything. And we're close to that. We're close to distrust everything. But there's also this about, I think there's a correlation between what's also going around on the internet is flat world society, where there's an entire society of people that make documentaries that's about an hour long on YouTube, trying to document that the earth is actually flat. It's not round, as scientists say, that all scientists agree that the world is round. They speculate, no, it's actually not true. That's the fake news. The earth is actually flat, and we can prove it. And they come up with evidence to prove that we're living on a flat earth, but it's not real science. It's kind of like pseudo-science. That means it's fake science. And that's the thing also with the fake news going around, that it actually, it's a challenge to the authority of science. And that's the danger here, that science actually could fall as an authority. And this is problematic. If science falls as an authority, that means a lot of bad things, and I don't know how close we are to that, but this is the danger that lies in also fake news and a flat world society, that you can believe in everything you want, and there's always evidence for anything you want, even a flat earth. Two-edged sword, this fake news or this flat earth society that I have a correlation with. It has two sides, this sword, that on one side, well, it's good. It might challenge you in the daily life to try to double check and be a bit critical about what you read, about what you're seeing on the news, and make you think yourself. That's kind of like maybe a good thing, that you actually have to be more careful, and we learn to be more careful. We learn to think more ourselves. And then there's the other side, that's the problematic side, that we will not maybe become smarter, we will actually become dumber. There's something called the Dunning-Kruger effect, and that's the effect where some of us are not really at all time able to understand our own mental ability or intellectual ability to understand something. We exaggerate how much we understand about something. For instance, the less we know about something, the more we actually feel we know about it. That's the Dunning-Kruger effect. Put in a very harsh way, the more dumber people are, the smarter they think they are. That's dumb people that don't know that they're dumb. We can do something as an individual, and that's the things I've been talking about in this video, that you should try to double check the people on news that tell you stuff, and what you read, you should try to maybe double check it somewhere else to see if it really has something to it. And you also, of course, have to double check your politicians, and you have to double check, you have to double check your scientists. Of course you do, but do not, and that's something the individual can do not distrust scientists or science that much that you dismiss it as a whole, as an elite authority that you have to struggle against. Just double check your science. Try to read difficult, readable articles. Try to read a difficult article instead of trying to only read easy half-page articles on the net. Try to read a long, difficult article, and if you don't really understand that much in the article, be frank with yourself and say, I didn't really understand it. They must be smarter than I on the subject, and say, I trust that some people are smarter than me. That's okay. I don't have to say, this is too difficult to understand, so they must be dumb since they cannot explain it to a guy like me. This is wrong thinking. So try to read more, try to understand more, try to do philosophy, to speculate things from different viewpoints. Even the idea of fake news, to say, this is just fake news, this is not fake news, this is fake news, this is not fake news. Try to look at it in a more broad perspective. I think, what's really going on here with fake news? Because it seems like it's here to stay, at least for a very long time. I don't know. Of course, I don't know the future. So that's how you should be about fake news, and I hope that you, here in the future, think about yourself as living in this Plato's cave, that you're living in this cave, and something is trying to show you some shadowy images that are not the real ones. Try to free yourself from this if you can, to come up to enlightenment if you can. So have a good philosophical enlightenment journey from now on, and I'll hope to see you in my next video.